If you keep fighting me, I'll tell the school you're not safe to take her home. My mother-in-law said it with a PTA smile, right in the front office. My 7-year-old Lila clung to my neck hives, racing up her jaw, lips swelling fast. Juniper should have been here, her allergy alert dog, the one who warns us before Lila's throat turns into a closing door. But the leash in my fist was clipped to nothing. Lila wasn't even looking at me. She kept scanning the hallway like she was waiting for someone else. "Where's Junie?" she rasped. Celeste leaned in, still smiling. "Sweetheart, you don't need that animal. You need family." Lila's breathing hit that thin whistle that means we have minutes. And then my ex-husband stepped out of a conference room holding a folder like this was scheduled. He didn't look at our daughter. He looked at me. "Sign the temporary custody form, Aaron. Then we'll give her back." I felt something in me go cold and clean. Not fear, clarity. Because my child wasn't just having a reaction. She was being negotiated. Celeste blocked the doorway like she owned the building. "Let's be reasonable," she said, voice soft enough to sound loving. "You're upsetting her. My kid can't breathe," I said, digging through my bag with shaking hands. "Move." Celeste's fingers closed around my wrist, light, polite, controlling. "You don't need to use that pen," she murmured. "You always overdo it." Overdo it. Her favorite word lately. Overprotective. Over-emotional. Overreacting. She'd been building a story about me while I was busy keeping Lila alive. I found the EpiPen and pressed it into Lila's thigh through her leggings. Click. Lila jolted, then started crying in silent tears. I kissed her hair. "I've got you," I whispered. "Stay with me." The receptionist's face appeared behind the glass. "Is she okay?" Celeste answered fast. "She has anxiety. Her mother escalates." I turned to the window. "Call 911, please." Celeste's grip tightened. "No ambulance. Not here. Do you want anaphylaxis in her school file? Do you want that in front of a judge?" There it was. Not concern. Strategy. Marcus stepped closer, calm and polished, like he'd practiced this in a mirror. He slid the folder up so I could see the header: Temporary Guardianship and Medical Decision Authority. "For Lila's safety," he said, voice low. "Short term. Mom supervises. You rest. Everyone wins." Lila coughed against my shoulder. The sound was wet and wrong. "Where's Juniper?" I demanded. Marcus's jaw tightened. "With someone responsible. She's trained medical support," I snapped. "You can't take her." Celeste's smile didn't move. "We can if you keep proving you can't manage," she said. "We're trying to help you before something tragic happens. Something tragic. Like the thing happening right now." I tried to step around her. She shifted, not aggressive, just positioned, like a bouncer in pearls. "You're not taking her out like this," Celeste whispered, eyes still friendly for the camera in the corner. "You're going to make yourself look unfit. Unfit." That word had been floating around our lives ever since my divorce. It didn't matter that I worked 2 jobs, that I kept emergency meds in 3 different bags, that I had a binder of Lila's medical plan in my glove compartment. Celeste only saw what she could frame. Footsteps came fast, school nurse, security, then a paramedic pushing through the doors like oxygen had a deadline. "Patient?" he asked. I lifted Lila higher. "Anaphylaxis. Epi 2 minutes ago. She needs transport." Celeste floated in, palms open. "She overuses the pen," she said gently. "Her mother is unstable." The paramedic didn't look at her. "Trigger?" I stared at Celeste's face and realized the trigger could be anything now, because the one system that catches it early was missing. "Her alert dog is gone," I said. "We didn't get warning." The paramedic's eyes sharpened. "Who removed it?" Marcus jumped in. "The dog was making her dependent." The paramedic's mouth flattened. "Dependency isn't the issue. Airway is." He motioned for the gurney. As they strapped Lila down, she reached for me, frantic. "Mom," she whispered. "Did Grandma take Junie because I was bad?" That question punched straight through me. "No," I said, steadying my voice with sheer force. "You did nothing wrong. Adults messed up." "Behind me?" Celeste hissed. "Don't poison her against family. Family." The word she used like a shield. As they rolled Lila toward the ambulance bay, I caught an odd detail on the counter. A brand new laminated sign with today's date printed at the bottom. No animals on campus. No exceptions. My stomach dropped. Celeste hadn't just taken Juniper. She'd already changed the rules around my daughter without me even knowing. Outside, while the paramedics loaded Lila, Celeste leaned toward the nurse and spoke quietly. The nurse's face tightened. Then she glanced at Marcus. I didn't hear the words, but I saw the effect. The adults around us were being coached. In the ambulance, Lila's breathing finally eased into something less terrifying. But the medic kept watching her like he didn't trust her body, and honestly, I didn't either. "Any second wave history?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "That's why the dog matters. She alerts early. She grounds her. She saves time." He nodded once, then looked at me. "Who took the dog?" "My ex's family," I said, and my voice cracked anyway. At the hospital entrance, Marcus appeared again, not running, not frantic arriving, like he'd timed it. "I'll meet you inside," he said, reaching for Lila's chart clipboard as if he belonged there. I blocked him with my shoulder. "You don't get to play hero now," I said. His eyes narrowed. "You're making this harder than it has to be." That was his gift, turning my survival into an inconvenience. Inside the ER, a social worker appeared with a clipboard and that careful voice that means someone has already planted a story. "Questions about supervision," she said. I didn't need her to explain. Celeste wasn't just trying to scare me, she was building a file. If you're subscribed, you already know I don't tell stories that end at the ambulance doors because the next piece I uncovered wasn't about feelings. It was paperwork. And that paperwork explained exactly why they were willing to gamble with my daughter's breathing. At the ER, a doctor told me, "You got lucky, like luck was a parenting tool." Lila slept with an IV taped to her arm. She kept turning her head toward the empty space by her feet, where Juniper always curled up on hospital nights, warm weight, steady breath, a living alarm system. "She's going to think I left her," Lila whispered when she woke. "I didn't," I said, throat tight. "Someone took her." A nurse came in to check her vitals and noticed Lila's eyes stuck on the floor. "Where's her service dog?" she asked softly. Before I could answer, Marcus slid in like a shadow. "The dog is being retrained," he said. It was increasing anxiety. The nurse paused, then looked at me one quick glance that said she'd seen this before. "Does the dog have documentation?" she asked. "Yes," I said quickly. "Medical plan, training records, everything." Marcus smiled thinly. "Aaron keeps binders for everything," he said, like it was a joke, like I was silly for being prepared. After he left, the nurse lowered her voice. "Ma'am," she said, "if that dog is part of her safety plan, it shouldn't be removed without a physician." My throat burned. "Tell that to my ex's mother." While Lila dozed, I scrolled through Celeste's texts, hunting for proof the way you hunt for a flashlight in a blackout. Found it. "If you can't control her episodes, I'll have to step in. Don't make me do something official." Official. That word again. Then a new message came in from Marcus. A photo of Juniper in her harness, standing beside a shiny white camper under string lights. "She's safe. Don't make this ugly." My mouth went dry. They didn't rehome my daughter's dog. They traded her. A memory hit me 3 weeks earlier, Celeste casually mentioning that Marcus's sister, Paige, needed a fresh start. Paige had never needed fresh starts. Paige needed bailouts. I left Lila with a nurse I trusted and drove to the one person Celeste avoided. Marcus's grandmother, Hazel. Hazel lived in a strict retirement co-op with posted rules and board security. Celeste hated places she couldn't charm. Hazel opened her door before I knocked. "Where's the dog?" she said. I blinked. "How did you—" "Celeste called to brag," Hazel said, stepping aside. "She always forgets I've known her longer than she's been. Sweet. Tell me what she did to the baby." I told her fast. School, missing leash, papers, the threat, the laminated sign. Hazel didn't flinch once. When I finished, she nodded like a judge. "She's not after the dog," she said. "She's after what the dog represents." "What do you mean?" I asked. Hazel pulled a thick folder from a cabinet and slapped it on the table. "The Leela Morgan Health and Education Trust." My heart stuttered. "That exists?" Hazel's eyes were sharp. "Marcus never told you?" "No." Hazel's mouth tightened. "Of course not." She flipped pages, tapping a section. "Medical supports," she said. "Emergency supplies, service animal costs." My hands went numb. "Juniper is covered under this." Hazel nodded. "Which means Juniper isn't just a pet. She's tied to funds. And if Celeste can get decision-making authority, she can control how that money moves." The custody folder flashed in my mind like a warning siren. Temporary guardianship, medical decision-making. It wasn't about rest. It was a key. Hazel slid another paper toward me. My stomach dropped. A power of attorney form. Hazel's name under principal. Celeste's name under agent. My voice came out thin. "Why does she have this?" Hazel's jaw set. "Hip surgery. Pain meds." She helped me sign. I thought it would keep the peace. "It's 7. Her eyes went hard. I was wrong. Hazel leaned closer. "And here's the part Celeste doesn't want you to know," she said, tapping another page. "The trust has a clause. If someone tries to redirect funds by claiming a parent is unfit, it triggers an audit request." My breath caught. "So, if she gets guardianship, she can petition to manage the money," Hazel said. "But the audit would expose what she's been doing." I stared. "What has she been doing?" Hazel's lips pressed thin. "Taking small distributions under family support," she said. "Nothing dramatic. Enough to hide. Enough to normalize." My skin prickled. That camper photo suddenly looked like a receipt. My phone buzzed. A voicemail from Celeste, dripping with that saintly tremble she uses when she wants a record. "Aaron, sweetheart, Lila needs stability. If you cooperate, we can keep this private." Private. Like my kid's airway was a family secret, I saved the voicemail. Then Hazel's phone rang. She listened, and her face went still. "What?" I asked. Hazel turned pale, then angry. "The co-op says my access badge was deactivated," she said. "They were told I need evaluation. Celeste requested no visitors." My blood ran cold. "She's trying to isolate you." Hazel grabbed her purse. "Then we move first," she said. Back at the hospital, Lila held up her tablet with trembling hands. "Grandma texted me," she whispered. On the screen, a message sent through Marcus's account. "If you want to see Juniper again, be a good girl and listen to Daddy." I felt rage climb my throat so fast it tasted metallic. Hazel crouched to Lila's level. "Adults who ask for secrets are doing something wrong," she said gently. "You are not in trouble." Lila nodded, lip shaking. Hazel stood and looked at me. "Attorney," she said. "Now." And before we even reached the elevator, Marcus called my phone. His voice was calm, almost bored. "I'm picking Lila up from school tomorrow," he said. "Mom will be there too. Don't make it complicated." I gripped my phone so hard my hand hurt. "Try it," I said. He paused, just a beat. You're emotional, he said. That's why we're doing this. I hung up. If you're still here, hit like and subscribe. Stay with me because the next part is where the masks slipped in public, and what Celeste tried at my daughter's school will flip how you see everything. Hazel's attorney, Calvin Reed, had the calm voice of someone who'd seen families set each other on fire while smiling. He listened, then asked Hazel one question. Did you knowingly authorize Celeste to act for you? Hazel's answer was flat. No. Then we revoke it today, Calvin said, sliding papers across the desk. And we document every attempt she made to isolate you. I didn't care about revenge. I cared about Juniper and the way Lila's eyes searched for her like a missing organ. Can we get her back? I asked. Calvin nodded. Yes, he said. But we need location. And we need speed. I showed him Marcus's camper photo. Calvin zoomed in, quiet, studying background details like a detective. That decal, he said finally. Ridgeway RV Club. They meet at Ridgeway Campground. Hazel's mouth tightened. Celeste hates camping, she said. She loves assets. Calvin's eyes didn't lift. Campers move, he said. Campers hide things. My stomach dropped. She could move Juniper again. Calvin opened a new tab on his computer. There's more, he said. On screen. Petition for emergency custody. Filed by Marcus yesterday. Celeste listed as supervisor. In the attached statement, Marcus wrote that my emotional volatility created inconsistent medical supervision. I laughed once, sharp. He's using the reaction they created. Calvin didn't blink. He's trying to, he said, but timing matters, and evidence matters. He asked for every text, every voicemail, every screenshot. Hazel handed over her email from the co-op. I gave him the message to Lila. The more we stacked it, the uglier it looked. Celeste's help had fingerprints. Then Calvin said something that made my stomach flip again. Do you have proof the school ban sign is new? He asked. Yes, I said. It had today's date printed. Calvin nodded. That means someone requested it, he said. And the request will be logged. Hazel's eyes narrowed. Celeste tried to block the dog from campus, she said. So Aaron would look negligent when Lila reacted. I felt sick. She set the stage, I whispered. Calvin leaned forward. We're filing for an emergency retrieval order for Juniper, he said. We're also notifying the court that any attempt to remove the child from school without your authorization will be treated as interference. My phone buzzed like it was listening. A text from Marcus. School pickup is tomorrow. Mom will handle it. Don't fight this. My lungs locked. Hazel didn't sugarcoat it. He's going to try to take her, she said. Calvin nodded once. And schools can be pressured, he said. We don't wait. If you're subscribed, the next morning was always going to be public, because what happened at Lila's school wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a daylight attempt, and the way we stopped it exposed what Celeste was really planning. We left Calvin's office with a stack of paperwork, and that hunted feeling you get when the person chasing you calls it love. Before we left, Calvin made one more call on speaker. It was to Juniper's training organization. I'm counsel for the beneficiary, he said, polite but firm. Place a hold on any further movement of the dog. No temporary placements, no trial homes. If she moves again, I want the full contact trail. The woman on the line hesitated. We received paperwork indicating a change in medical decision-maker, she said. My mouth went dry. From who? She answered. Celeste Ashford. Hazel let out a short, humorless laugh. So she forged authority and dared them to question her, she said. Calvin's tone stayed even. You have now been notified that paperwork is contested. Do not release the dog to anyone except the child's legal parent or law enforcement with an order. Yes, sir, the woman said, suddenly careful. We'll note it immediately. When the call ended, my hands were shaking again because Celeste wasn't just spinning stories, she was producing documents. Calvin printed a one-page notice for the school too, addressed to the principal and the front office. Password required, no exceptions, and any attempt by Celeste to remove Lila should be treated as interference, not grandparent help. He had me sign it in blue ink. Then he photographed my signature because he said, "People like her love to claim they've spoken for you." I hated how normal he sounded saying that. I called the school immediately. Password system. Written note in Lila's file. Celeste removed as contact. Marcus informed that only the court-ordered parent could pick up unless I approved. The principal sounded polite. "We'll follow protocol," she said. Protocol didn't calm me. That night, Hazel stayed at my apartment. Lila slept with Juniper's empty harness clutched like a stuffed animal. She'd insisted on keeping it, like it could call Juniper home. Hazel sat at my table and wrote a short list in her tidy handwriting. Protect the child. Recover the dog. Expose the motive. Don't get baited. I kept rereading number 4, because Celeste loved bait. She didn't need to win on facts if she could win on optics. At 11:08 p.m., Hazel got another email from the co-op administrator. Evaluation scheduled. No visitors per family representative Celeste Ashford. Hazel forwarded it to Calvin without a word. At 1:17 a.m., Paige posted that send-off selfie again, and this time I zoomed in harder. Beside the camper, on a folding table, was a stack of glossy brochures from an RV dealership. On the top brochure, a sticky note in Celeste's handwriting. Use Lila's fund first. I stared until my eyes hurt. It was messy. It was sloppy. Hazel's voice was low. She's getting desperate, she said. At 7:42 a.m. As I was packing Lila's inhaler bag, my phone rang. The school number, I answered, already shaking. "This is Erin," the secretary whispered. "Your ex's mother is here. She says she's picking Lila up. She's getting loud." I looked at Hazel. Hazel looked back, calm but ready. And my stomach dropped, because I knew this was exactly where Celeste wanted the scene public, recorded, and twisted into her version of concern. I drove to the school like I was chasing my own heartbeat. Hazel sat beside me, calm in a way that scared me. "Don't speak from emotion," she said. "Speak from boundaries." Inside the front office, Celeste stood at the counter with her public smile, holding a tote bag like she was doing a favor. "I'm here for my granddaughter," she said brightly. Her mother asked me. "That's a lie," I said, loud enough for the camera in the corner and the staff behind the glass. "She does not have the password. Do not release my child." Celeste's smile tightened. "Erin," she said, voice warm, "you look exhausted. Let me help. Help. Always help." Hazel walked in behind me like a storm contained in a cardigan. Celeste's smile flickered when she saw her. "You're out," Celeste blurted, then caught herself. "I mean, Hazel, are you okay?" Hazel ignored her and faced the secretary. "My daughter-in-law has no authority here," she said. "This child stays until her mother signs her out." Celeste leaned closer to the counter, voice dropping into that concerned hush. "She's unstable," she murmured. "We have paperwork." I didn't give her room to breathe. "If you try again," I said, "I call the police for interference." Celeste's eyes flashed. "You're embarrassing the family." "I'd rather embarrass you than bury my child," I said. Lila appeared at the classroom door, lunchbox in hand. Her face changed when she saw Celeste. She froze, like her body remembered danger, even if her brain wanted to be polite. "Mom," she whispered. I crouched. "You're safe," I said. "Come to me." Lila moved fast, gripping my shirt like she might float away. Celeste softened her voice instantly. "Sweetheart," she said, "I brought you a surprise." Lila didn't answer. Her eyes flicked to Celeste's tote bag and then back to me, questioning. Hazel's voice cut in. Do not bribe her, she said. Celeste's smile snapped back. I'm not bribing. I'm supporting. My phone buzzed. Calvin, order signed. Ridgeway. Meet now. My whole body shook with it relief, fear, adrenaline. We were going to get Juniper. As I led Lila out, Celeste leaned close enough that only I could hear her. This won't save you, she whispered. Judges don't like mothers who make scenes. I turned my head slowly. Then stop giving me scenes, I said. We drove toward Ridgeway Campground with Hazel beside me and Lila in the back, clutching Juniper's empty harness like a promise. On the way, Celeste texted me, Please don't cause a scene at Paige's party. Lila needs peace. Peace. Like she hadn't used my daughter's fear as leverage. The campground looked like a staged commercial. String lights, cupcakes, matching shirts that said Adventure Crew. The camper sat in the center. Spotless, expensive, fake happy. The family-only crowd included Paige's friends, people who didn't know they were standing in someone else's crime scene. A patrol car rolled in behind us. Deputy Rios stepped out. Calvin arrived in his suit with a folder and a face like a closed door. Hazel stepped out first, spine straight. Celeste saw her and her smile froze. Mom, Celeste said too loud, you shouldn't be here. Hazel's voice was quiet. Neither should you, she said. Paige popped out from behind the camper, cheeks flushed from excitement and lies. What is this? She snapped when she saw the deputy. Deputy Rios held up his hand. Ma'am, we have an order regarding the service animal. The camper door opened. Juniper stepped down in her harness, bandana added like decoration. Lila made a small, broken sound. Juniper's head snapped toward her. Instantly alert, instantly loyal, Paige tightened the leash. She's adjusting, she said, defensive. We're giving her a better life. You stole her, I said, voice flat. Celeste stepped forward, palms out. Everyone calm down, she said. This is about Lila's well-being. Calvin held up the retrieval order. Juniper is tied to the child's trust, he said. Unauthorized transfer. Hand over the leash. Paige looked to Celeste. Celeste's smile didn't reach her eyes. Paige, she said softly. Give it to them. We'll fix this later. Later. The word Celeste lived by. Later meant after she got what she wanted. Paige's face twisted with anger, but her fingers loosened. She shoved the leash toward Deputy Rios. The second Juniper was free, she walked straight to Lila and pressed against her legs like a safety wall. Lila dropped to her knees and hugged her so hard I thought she'd crack her own ribs. Juniper stayed steady, then licked Lila's cheek like she'd been waiting for permission to be hers again. My eyes burned, and I let myself feel it for 1 second because this was why I didn't back down. Calvin served Celeste another stack of papers. Revocation of power of attorney, he said, and notice of investigation for coercion and financial exploitation. Celeste's face drained. You can't, she whispered. Hazel's voice was calm as ice. Watch me, she said. That's when Marcus finally arrived late. On purpose, walking up with his hands open like he was the peacekeeper. Aaron, he said. This is too much. Deputy Rios didn't care about his tone. Sir, he said. Step back. Marcus's eyes flicked to Lila, hugging Juniper, and for a moment, just a moment, I saw regret. Then he swallowed it and turned it into blame. You're upsetting her, he told me. I stared at him. She was upset when you used her dog as a bargaining chip, I said. People scattered. Paige's friends suddenly had errands. Celeste's smile wavered as she watched control slide out of her hands. As we walked back to the car with Juniper between us, Deputy Rios leaned close. You have a hearing scheduled, he murmured. They pushed it up. My stomach tightened. When? Tomorrow morning, he said. And right then my phone buzzed with a new calendar invite I hadn't created. Emergency custody hearing 9 a.m. If you're subscribed, don't blink, because the courtroom wasn't just about custody. It was about exposing how far family will go when a child becomes a resource. That night, I slept in fragments beside Lila's bed. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard Celeste's voice. Not safe, not stable, not fit. Juniper curled against Lila like she was sealing a wound. At dawn, Calvin met us at the courthouse with coffee and a thick stack of evidence. Hazel walked beside me, steady, refusing to be moved. Celeste arrived dressed like a Saint soft cardigan, watery eyes, tissues ready. Marcus arrived polished, calm, already rehearsed. The judge was a woman with tired eyes and a sharp mind. She listened to Marcus paint me as chaotic, emotional, medically negligent. He talked about the hospital visit like it was proof I couldn't parent. He never mentioned the laminated sign. He never mentioned the missing dog. He never mentioned the text he sent about giving her back. Celeste sat behind him, nodding at the right moments, dabbing at her eyes like she was mourning my competence. When it was our turn, Calvin didn't argue feelings. He dropped facts. The ER report noting anaphylaxis and the missing service animal. The school log showing Celeste attempted pickup without authorization. Marcus's text. Sign the custody form. Then we'll give her back. Celeste's message to Lila. If you want Juniper again, be a good girl and listen to Daddy. The retrieval order and deputy report documenting an unauthorized transfer. The co-op emails showing Celeste attempted to isolate Hazel. The judge's eyebrows lifted at the message to Lila. You contacted the child directly with a condition? She asked Marcus. Marcus shifted in his seat. It was family communication. The judge's voice tightened. Family communication is not coercion. Calvin added the trust documents and the disclosure issue. There is a financial incentive, he said. The petition was filed immediately after the dog was removed and a medical crisis occurred. The trust covers medical supports. A change in decision-making authority would influence distributions. Celeste's mask held, but her fingers clenched white. Hazel testified, calm but fierce. She stated clearly how Celeste obtained power of attorney under pain medication and attempted to use it to isolate her. Celeste snapped, forgetting herself. Hazel, sit down. The judge turned like a blade. Miss Ashford, you will not address the witness. Silence fell, thick and public. Marcus tried to recover. Your Honor, Erin is impulsive, he said. She creates conflict. She refuses help. My mother is simply... Your mother removed a medically relevant support, the judge cut in, and then attempted to use the resulting crisis to claim incompetence. Marcus's mouth opened, then closed. The judge looked at me. Miss Morgan, she said, what do you want today? My throat tightened, but I kept my voice level for Lila. Safety, I said. A respected medical plan. And boundaries that can't be sweet-talked away. The judge nodded once. Emergency custody is denied, she said. Air rushed out of my lungs so hard I almost shook, but she continued. Miss Celeste Ashford will have no direct contact with the child without supervised arrangements, pending further proceedings, she said. School pickup restrictions will be enforced, and concerns regarding the trust and coercion will be referred for review. Celeste's face went pale. Marcus stared at the table like it betrayed him. Outside, Celeste tried one last performance, voice trembling for the record. Erin, 5 minutes. I'm her grandmother. Don't punish her for adult misunderstandings. I didn't answer. I buckled Lila into the back seat. Juniper hopped in beside her like she was claiming her post. Lila leaned forward and whispered, Please don't take my dog again. Celeste's smile flickered, shock, anger, then mask. No one is taking anything, she said. Hazel stepped between Celeste and my car. You will communicate through counsel, she said. Approach the school again and I will file every report available. We drove away. That afternoon, Marcus texted me like the hearing had been a rough meeting. not a failed attempt to strip me of my kid. We should keep this civil for Lila. I didn't reply. I forwarded it to Calvin. Lila, though, processed it in the only way kids can, by making rules that keep them alive. On the drive home, she said, "If Grandma asks me to keep a secret again, I'm going to tell my teacher too." Then she paused. "And Juniper." I told her, "Yes, tell every safe adult." The next Monday, I walked Lila into school with Juniper at her side and a copy of the judge's order in my bag. The same receptionist who'd looked scared before looked relieved now. Like paperwork gave her permission to protect a child, Juniper sat at Lila's feet during morning circle, calm and alert, as if she'd never been stolen at all. 2 weeks later, the protective order was signed. Lila's school password stayed. Marcus's exchange location changed to a neutral site. Calvin filed to audit the trust and document the attempted transfer of Juniper. Paige's camper adventure died fast when lenders and paperwork started asking questions about deposits and timelines. Paige blamed Celeste. Celeste blamed me. Marcus blamed stress, like stress signs custody papers. Lila started therapy. In one session, she drew our family, me, her, Juniper, and Hazel inside a house with a lock. Celeste outside, smiling with too many teeth. Hazel looked at the drawing and said, "Good. You're seeing clearly. And now I want to hear from you, because this is where families split into two kinds of people. The ones who call this forgiveness, and the ones who call it survival. If someone used a child's safety as leverage, would you ever let them back in? Would you forgive? Or would you choose peace and protection? Drop your answer in the comments. Share this with someone who needs it. And make sure you're subscribed, because women like Celeste don't stop wanting access just because a judge said no. Juniper still sleeps, pressed against Lila's legs at night. Lila still checks the door lock twice, and I still wake up sometimes hearing that sentence in the school office. I'll tell them you're not safe, but then I see my daughter breathing, and I remember. Control is not love, and I don't owe anyone access to her.